Welcome back to Dave D's Random Watch. The next movie that I drew was 1985's Creature. That is your alien ripoff movie. It is directed by William Malone, who has went on to direct other films. He's a master of horror, as they would call him. And this movie is that. It's an alien ripoff. It starts off with people in a room where they discover an alien, and then of course, ship comes for rescue. Ship crash lands, and said alien creature hunts them down one by one. There's really not much more to say about it than that in terms of the, if you call it, plot. So the movie stars Wendy Shell, which many people probably know her as the voice of American Dad's the wife in that show. She's also done several Joe Dante films, and uh, Lyman Ward, who is, many know him as the dad in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He was also in this movie. So the movie's got actors that I am familiar with, and I think her name is Diane Salinger. She played in Pee Wee's Big Adventure the waitress, and she went on to do other films here and there. Most notably, the Penguin's mom in Batman Returns. I remember her. So she's in this movie as well. So there's familiar faces in it. Then this movie is that it's very cheaply made, to the point that the sets actually do look like sets in a negative way. Everything looks very plywood painted. Just it doesn't feel like they're in a spaceship or anything like that. It feels like they're in a stage play, really, which would prove that I think you could make, well, some high schooler kids did this, but I think in terms of like Broadway, you could make Alien into a stage play or some sort of sci-fi, a sci-fi movie of that nature. Star Wars wouldn't work, but you need something to be a little more claustrophobic. You know, in that terms, that's what's kind of nice about this movie. It shows you, in a way, it could work to be a stage play. Uh, and the movie, the practical effects in terms of the gore and the violence, it's good. It's decent. A lot of the movies, that might have been where they spent their budget, but it looks pretty good. Where the movie fails is really its spaceship stuff, including when they do exteriors of the ships. A couple other things I've noticed with the sound. Some of the things with the sound with this movie are very peculiar, and one of them is, if you remember in the original Star Wars, Darth Vader would be shooting his TIE fighter at some X-wings. It made this peculiar sound to it. They used that sound for the doors opening or closing, so every time I heard that, I kept hearing the TIE fighter firing its weapon sound. And another interesting note with this movie is the fact that I mentioned, obviously it's an alien ripoff, and the movie is there's a scene in it where, this is might be where spoilers are, but there's a scene where they pick up, in the beginning, they're in a chamber, not an egg chamber, but a chamber full of cylinders, and these cylinders or containers, that's where the alien creature is in, and they happen to break it open, and the creature escapes. In several years later, Prometheus, which is a prequel to Alien, features something very similar, but the only difference is there's black goo coming out versus an actual monster. So we have this movie here that, you got Alien, and then Creature rips off Alien, and then did Prometheus borrow from Creature? Very possible. I wouldn't put it past the guy who did the final screenplay for Prometheus, who might have subconsciously borrowed from Creature, um, but maybe he did it better. Probably did it better. I would say they did it better in Prometheus. I mean, if you take Ridley Scott versus William Malone, I'm pretty sure Ridley Scott wins. Uh, the movie, I forgot to do the cover earlier. Creature. Uh, it's a 3-pack, Killer Sci-Fi 3-pack. I got this for 2 of the movies on it. These 2. This one, well, we'll see what that one's about when I draw that one. So Creature's one of those, just like The Quest, I would look at it at the video store numerous times, never picking it up. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't remember watching this within the last few years. I might not have. I just recently got this copy, but I don't remember watching or seeing this movie. And maybe it's that forgettable. It could very well be forgettable, or I didn't even finish it. I honestly don't know. But now I've seen it. Now I've watched it. Now I can rate it, and I would give it a 1.5 stars. It's a very weak film. It's got, like, real actors in it. They're not people who show up just to make a movie and you never hear from them again. I always find it fascinating. The very cheap movies will have names on the cover, and these people nobody knows who they are. I mean, you're wasting time putting people's names on the cover. At least this one, you could maybe get away with putting like Wendy Shell's name on it, and people would know her from voicing the mom in American Dad. So it's a weak movie, 1.5 stars. The most for me was, it gives me hope that maybe someday someone will make a Broadway Alien play. Like I said, some high schoolers did it, and from what I've seen of that footage, they pulled it off. And a movie like that could be done, a play like that could be done with a movie that is closed, like Alien or Creature is kind of closed off in its own little world. So, and until next time.